Hello, all, and welcome to All Red. Can Liverpool win the title? That is the question. And to answer that question, or to ponder on that question today, is a very, very special guest all the way out in Ireland, which is probably like 5,000 miles away from where I am. It is Craig from Anfield Agenda. Craig, thank you so much for jumping on, man. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Sam, and thank you for the invite. I was made aware of your video and quickly wanted to just come across to say it would be my pleasure to come across and chat with you, sir, and thank you again for the invite.
Oh man, I feel like I'm in dreamland right now. I'm sure myself, along with probably millions of other Liverpool fans, have watched you for years, Craig, and the work you've done is very admirable. And it's a joy to talk to you, man. From one Liverpool fan to the next. But we've got a very serious thing to talk about today, Craig. Just speculating on. There's a lot of buzz right now. Obviously, we're in this, third international break now, so we have a lot of time to think about what's happened so far in the season. And what has happened so far in the season is Liverpool have been winning and winning some more. And so, of course, everyone's starting to ask, are Liverpool actually title contenders? Because no one was saying that in the summer. But are Liverpool actually title contenders? We got 4 questions to run through here, Craig, that we'll kind of talk through. And the first one is, how are you feeling about this start, Craig? How are you feeling about the start to life under Arne Slot?
I am so happy. Let me start off by saying that, Sam. I'm so happy because I believed in Arne Slot when he was brought in. I didn't want him to be a sacrificial lamb or a scapegoat. Somebody's come in after Jurgen and fail. I didn't want that to be the case. So I'm over the moon. Did I expect it to be quite this good? I think I'd be a liar if I came on here and told you I did. But it is, I'm just impressed. I'm impressed by how he's conducted himself, by how we are on the pitch. And I'm very, very optimistic about the remainder of the season. So the start has been a dream for me. But what about for your good self?
Yeah, absolutely. Dreamland. I was very, very optimistic about Slot as well. Just looking at his history and hearing all the buzz from a lot of Feyenoord fans as well. And all of them were actually not surprised by this start. They've all kind of been saying it since Liverpool signed him. And so I was very excited about him in the summer, but never would have expected like this kind of start. This is incredible. 17 games, 15 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. Top of the Premier League, the only unbeaten team in the Champions League. So, of course, we sit top of the Champions League as well. It's absolutely been a magical start. I'm the same way, Craig. I'm just like super happy with where we're at as a club right now. Obviously, very healthy financially. Now we have this new manager that doesn't need to spend hundreds of millions of pounds to compete and win. We'll see if he can win. But we need to ask the question, well, hold on, which titles are we actually talking about? We are involved, of course, in 4 competitions. We've got the Premier League, we've got the Champions League, the League Cup, and the FA Cup. By the way, I know you covered this on your show earlier today. Opta Premier League Predictor has Liverpool at a 60.3% chance of winning the Premier League, with City next in line at 34.3%. So what titles are we talking about here, Craig?
I mean, I'm a bit reticent to get into talking about winning titles at the moment, to be honest. And one thing I wanted to actually speak to you about was, you're obviously a content creator, lots of people coming into your chat. Are you receiving the same type of comments I am from your friends or from your fellow Liverpool fans about, this feels like a dream? I don't quite understand how we are here. Everything is going our way with City dropping points and Arsenal and us picking up wins. Everyone is just wants to pinch themselves, Sam. It's like a dream at the minute.
It is a dream, and that's why I've been telling people like, okay, hold on, take a deep breath, calm down. I've had people comment on like, oh, it's fine, we're doing the quad. Here comes the quad, or oh, we're getting both. We're getting the Champions League and the Premier League. And I'm like, hold on, it's November. We need to take a step back because we've been in these positions before. Maybe not, where we're, obviously a new Champions League format allows us to be the top club in that competition. And we've been sitting atop of the Premier League in November before and have gone on to not win that year. But 5 points clear of City. 9 points clear of Arsenal at this point? I mean, we are looking at a historic start for our new manager. And at the same time, Craig, I'm in the camp of like, it's early. Let's enjoy where we're at now and not think about May, because it's just early. But we're passing all the tests. Arne Slot is certainly passing all the tests.
I
Um,
mean, for me, publicly trying to say all the right things, don't get
yeah,
ahead of ourselves, take it one game at a time. But I would be a liar, my friend, if I came on here and said that I'm not dreaming the dream. I'm not thinking about what might be possible, because I think that's our job. If we
yeah.
can't dream as football fans, what hope is there? And with Arne start right now, I mean, I have a question for you, and of course to any audience watching as well. If you had to pick one of the two big ones, Sam, if it was Premier League or the European Cup, which one of those two would be top of your list for this season?
Top of my list. Well, I'll say my first answer is both, Craig. I have to say that first.
I like
Um,
agreed, sir. I like it.
but I think I'm going for our 20th Premier League title. I think we got to get there. We got to get to 20. I think we've won the Champions League 6 times, and I think more recently, if I remember correctly, we won the Champions League the year after we won the Premier League. The Premier League for me has just been a little bit more elusive for Liverpool in the past 20, 25 years. And so I'd love to win that. But I think there's a chance for both, Craig. I do. I really do. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but there's certainly a chance with how we've started in those competitions.
Well, I think it would be unfair of us to say we haven't got as good a chance as anybody else to deliver them, because we've started really well.
Absolutely. And that leads me to my next question. Who do you think is the biggest threat to Liverpool's chances? And we can take this probably in the Premier League and the Champions League. We'll start with the Premier League. I would assume it's still Manchester City. It has to be, right? I mean,
So my initial answer would be the referees would be my first answer. But if we get past that, I would say yes, Manchester City. I mean, you can't not respect what they've ground out in recent years. We
yeah,
cannot respect the way they've conducted themselves as a club, perhaps, but the desire and the fight and the consistency that Pep Guardiola has brought to that Manchester City team, it is admirable. Like, to look on and see that consistency season after season, you can't write them off now. Far from it. I'm happy to nearly write Arsenal off, but Man City will be there or thereabouts.
yeah, and I expect both of those clubs, Man City, Arsenal, to play much better, in the next couple months. City have done this before. They've had a tough, first half of the season, and then just absolutely kick it into gear. Now, that is with players who are healthy. They are obviously without perhaps their best player for the rest of this season, and so things like that, where you take those things into consideration. I remember the season where Liverpool won the Premier League. City had all kinds of injury issues, and obviously vice versa. Liverpool have had injury issues in the past as well. Arsenal currently still battling some injury issues. I put Forest on the list as a little bit of a cheeky thing there, as a threat to the title. They're looking fantastic, and obviously the only team to beat Liverpool this season. Hey, maybe they'll pull a Leicester and go for it. But
Also, our fellow two-time European Cup winners as well, which we can't say about Arsenal.
yeah, exactly. Yes, they've got the pedigree at least. On the Champions League side, who has impressed you most outside of Liverpool in that competition so far?
Probably surprisingly Barcelona, if I'm
Yeah,
being honest with you. I did not see Hansi Flick having the impact that he had with the financial restraints that Barcelona are working under. And you see the squad that Real Madrid have assembled, and I thought, well, this is going to be like a computer game now. Real Madrid are just going to go away and be unbeatable, but they look like they're struggling to get everybody into a cohesive unit. So
yep.
I would say, from myself, probably Barcelona have impressed me watching on.
Yeah, I'd rather face Madrid right now than Barca, which we will get to do here in a couple short weeks. All right, last question, Craig. If you could pick only one signing to strengthen us in January, do you have a name? Who's the one player you're going after if you are Richard Hughes?
I don't mean this to sound like a bit of a cop-out answer or anything, but I want what the manager wants. So
Mm,
I'm absolutely happy to bow down to his knowledge. But if I could give you a position, it would certainly be central midfield with a
yeah,
deeper lying playmaker, like Azubamendi as an example. Anybody along those lines, whether it be Baleba, whether it be Zubamendi, whether it be Alan Varela, maybe from Porto or somebody else. I just
Yes.
want us to box off that position, because I feel like Ryan can play 60, 65 games, and we're putting square pegs in round holes after that. So I just
Yep.
think if we can find somebody to come in and complement Ryan Gravenberch and give Arne Slot a chance to rotate, central midfield would be the area for me. What about yourself?
Yep. Yeah, fantastic. I would say the same thing. I mean, there are names out there like Kirkes and Marmish that I think would be maybe a little bit more exciting, especially somebody that could come in behind Mo Salah. But if we're talking about a marathon, finishing a marathon strong, that central midfield is just so important. I've been high on Alan Varela for a long time, dating back to early, this past summer. I guess that's not super long, but he was at the top of my list to bring in for a defensive midfielder. And if Zubamendi somehow has a change of heart, or his family does, and he's open to coming out and joining this team, seeing what Slot has done, let's get him in. I think he'd be a fantastic signing. And I'm at the same as you, Craig. Slot seems to know exactly what he wants. And I think he's very intentional with all of those things. And if he wants no one and he's happy with what he's got, that's certainly worked so far. If he's got somebody in mind, let's go out and spend whatever we need to get there. But let us know what you think in the comments. Are you excited about Liverpool's title chances? I bet you are. Let us know what you think in the comments. And as always, up the Reds.
Yeah, of course.